right now. We are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick here with Sally Bakewell, taking you through to that closing bell. It's a global simulcast. Carol Massar joins us from the radio booth. Emily Graffeo in today for Tim Stenovic. Welcome to our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio, our partnership with YouTube here on a Thursday afternoon where bond yields are up and stocks are down. In fact, Carol Massar, stocks, as we speak, hitting session lows.
Yeah, exactly. I was just looking at another leg to the downside. I just keep thinking about some of these retail earnings that we've got. Walmart, certainly a bit of a sales slowdown, so you wonder what that says about the consumer. We talked to Poonam Goyal of our Bloomberg Intelligence team. She said that underlying the information, actually some of it didn't look so bad.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about higher rates, that is something that can crimp consumers. We talked about mortgage rates also earlier in our show, and it's something that people watch, and you can see those economically sensitive parts of the stock market getting hit the most today. Like you said, Romaine, the Dow and the Russell 2000 as well.
And if you take a look at the IMAP function on the terminal, there's a whole lot of red for the S&P 500. It's been a day where the market has navigated a huge number of forces, including long-term bond yields and a number of fiscal milestones.
Yeah, and then we talk about the consumer as well. I mean, and obviously those results out of Walmart. We were talking with Michael Lasser over at UBS. He was a little more optimistic, saying this is probably a bit of a one-off, but we are going to get another read on the consumer with Ross Stores after the bell tonight, and maybe it provides a little bit more clarity, maybe it doesn't. But overall, investors, well, just pulling back just a little bit. We should point out, as typically this time of year in mid-August, volume is relatively light. But that jump that we saw in bond yields up about 5 basis points on that 30-year yield, taking a little bit of a bite out of the equity market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average losing about 686 points or 1.3%. The S&P 500 down about 66 points or 0.9% on the day. The NASDAQ Composite down a full percentage point on the day, while the NASDAQ 100 down about 0.7%. The Russell 2000, that's going to close in the red, down about 40 points. Or 1.3%.
All right, Romaine, back to the large caps I go. S&P 500, definitely more of a risk-off trade. No surprise, perhaps, there. You did see, Sally, 342 names in the S&P 500, lower on this Thursday, 157 to the upside, 4 unchanged. And you've got the IMAP, which is such a great visual always.
It is a great visual. And again, it is looking pretty red, with energy being the only sector where we're seeing a little bit of a green, lifting it by about 0.45%. Information technology down about 0.45, and financials down about 0.88. And of course, consumer staples down by about 1.8, as we had the very tough Walmart earnings where they posted disappointing sales.
All right, for those listening.
Yeah, well, I just sorry to interrupt, Carol, but I mean, speaking of Walmart, we are getting those earnings out of Ross Stores, obviously a much smaller player, but still one that is a significant read on the consumer. The second quarter numbers show the EPS coming in at about $2.66 per share, well above street estimates of $1. Excuse me, let me correct that. That's versus a year ago when it had $1.56 a share. So an increase in EPS on a year-over-year basis. Net sales in the most recent quarter, that did come in slightly above estimates, $6.26 billion. The street on average was looking for about 6.16. We'll round that up to about 6.2. So 13% growth on sales, just slightly above estimates.
Yeah, very interesting. This has definitely been an outperformer this year. Shares of Ross Stores are up about 27% year to date. We're seeing another pop to the upside. We just talked with our market guest, Skylar Weinard over at Regan Capital. This was a name that he actually likes. He thinks it's a retailer that plays to a certain sector and actually has been doing fairly well, and was kind of looking forward to earnings here.
It's been on fire. It's up 27% this year.
Yeah, it's been on fire, and it looks like that optimism is going to continue. The company now saying they're raising their outlook for both the third and the fourth quarters, and that at least in the previous quarter, the growth was supported by an increase in new customers and higher engagement from existing customers.
In the prior quarter, Ross did pretty well with the 18 to 24-year-old crowd, the sort of Gen Z who were under pressure from inflation, going down into the off-price retailer.
Yeah, tell me about it, Sally.
Wait, is that because you're shopping there or you're shopping for someone there?
I'm not touching that.
All right, let's get to some of the gainers, guys. Risk-off trade, certainly in the equity side of things. We saw rates going up. You know what was interesting? Some outperformance. Check out Bitcoin as high as $72,949 at its high, right?
Wow.
So I know. You should check on your Bitcoin.
Yeah.
See what it's worth now, buddy.
I forgot my password.
Yeah. You know, you and Matt Miller, what's up with you two?
It's long. Those passwords are long.
Well, you know, that's why you write them down or you do something. Hey, so let's get to some crypto players certainly in the space riding high as a result. Let's not forget, though, the president's meeting with crypto CEOs and lobbyists. That has given this sector some momentum over the last 2 days. So let's go through it. Strategy up 7.8%, top in the NASDAQ 100. In the past 2 days alone, we've seen it up about 20%, still down about 76% from its all-time high back in late 2024. But nonetheless, some outperformance again with Strategy. Coinbase Global up 7.6%. And then you also had Circle Internet Group, that one a 6.5% gain. And then move it on over to Galaxy Digital, that one up about 7.2% again. So that sector really has had a very strong bullish 2-day run here. And then just for something different, something simpler, Deere. Top name in the S&P 500, you can see that one up almost 7% in today's session. The manufacturer of tractors raising the lower end of its annual profit outlook, citing improvement in early order program trends, inventories for used equipment, and adoption of its advanced technologies. It also, Emily, posted third quarter earnings that beat, helped by a tariff refund.
All right, well, we're going to stay on the retailers for the beginning of my decliners because I'm starting with Walmart. That stock closing down 9% today. It's, again, a mixed bag for all of these consumer-facing companies, at least for this quarter for Walmart. The shareholders just weren't happy with the results. They did report the slowest U.S. sales growth in 6 years. Sales at U.S. stores open at least a year, excluding fuel, rose 2.6% in the second quarter. That was shy of even the lowest analyst estimate compiled by Bloomberg. And the big box retailer said it was hindered primarily by pricing pressure in its pharmacy business. So again, that stock falling about 9%. Moderna falling. Now, it did have a record day yesterday, but everything that goes up, I guess, has to come down. That stock finishing the day down 24%. It was the biggest full day drop on record. But of course, this is coming after yesterday's 177% climb stemming from a clinical trial win. Shares of the drug maker had basically more than doubled after the company said that a cancer vaccine cut the recurrence of melanoma in a large late stage trial. But again, that stock, maybe some investors taking some profits here. Finally, SpaceX. It's now about flat from its IPO. It did drop about 4% today. Today, a second tranche of the stock was released from a post-initial public offering lockup period. So a couple people that were in are now trying to get out.
All right, guys, that is a wrap. Just a little bit of earnings and a look at the market trade. We'll see what tomorrow will bring.